The Elise has traction control? No, this Elise doesn't have traction control. It's a 16-year-old car. It doesn't have all of the electronic gizmos and computer whatchamajiggies that the Porsche has to try to keep you on the track and make you into a better driver. No. With this, traction control is your hands, your feet, and your brain. And if any one of those things is off, then... And with only 190 horsepower, the Lotus Elise doesn't really need traction control or stability control. In fact, I had a driving instructor once tell me that there is no problem in the Elise that you can't solve by applying more throttle. And in a sense, he's right. It's not so much horsepower that more throttle is going to get you into trouble and really catch you out or really, kick the car sideways like some of these more modern cars that have 500, 600 horsepower. In those things, yes, more throttle will get you in trouble. But at 190 horsepower, generally applying more throttle makes the car more stable and makes it more predictable and more manageable. Okay, so I said the Lotus Elise doesn't have any traction or stability control, and that is correct for a 2005 model. But actually in 2006, they started to introduce a very rudimentary traction control system that was a little button down by the gear shifter that you could toggle on and off, and that's all it was. And that system was just traction control to limit rear wheel spin on acceleration or coming out of corners. It was pretty basic when it comes down to it. Then in 2008, Lotus came out with a more sophisticated traction control, and it had a little knob on the steering column that you could either dial up or dial back depending on how much you wanted the computers to intervene with your driving. But it wasn't until the third generation Exige, which wasn't offered here in America, that Lotus really had a sophisticated traction and stability control system. In fact, most drivers were faster with that turned on than with it off. The system was actually pretty cutting edge when it came out around 2013, and here's a great video showing you a driver driving with the traction control system on and one driving with it off.
But today I'm going to try and lap even quicker than he can. Now, I know this sounds fiendishly optimistic, but bear with me.
The Exige S has a cutting-edge driver aid called Dynamic Performance Management. When switched to race mode, Lotus claims that it will actually make you drive faster. Today, I'm going to test it to the max with a lap time challenge.
Okay, now here's the deal for today, right? You're going to go and set a lap time with all the electronics switched off. So you just rely on your foot and your hand. Right. Okay, and I will go out and try it in race mode.
So you're cheating then?
No, I wouldn't call it cheating, come on. How are you feeling?
As a track day car, it's great fun.
I was 1.8 seconds off Karan's time. But that's not to say that the Exige S and its race mode aren't brilliant. I did another lap with the system switched off and was half a second slower than with it on.
And yes, adding this system finally brought the Exige into the modern era on par with all the other, sports cars of that time. But personally, I like the simplicity and the analog nature of the earlier Elise. I think that it teaches you to be a better driver, and it actually forces you to be a better driver.
And the last chassis mode, well, that's to turn everything off. And then you could argue this thing does come alive one further stage. Okay, it could do with a bit more of some kind of locking diff when you're doing that kind of stuff, but it proves the inherent balance of the chassis is there. The car feels supple, feels balanced, just feels, very, very talented. You gotta love it.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell so you can get notified when we post a new video.